Welcome to the Owl's Head Museum of Transportation. We're so glad you came to visit us today. Now, let me give you a few facts about the museum first. We have one of the world's best collections of old aircraft, bicycles, cars, trucks, carriages, and engines. Most date from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. You can see these in our various exhibition rooms. We have lots of other interesting things for you to do here as well. Check out our schedule of lectures, and I'm sure you'll find one that interests you. Maybe you'd like to attend one of our workshops. They last about an hour, and you can learn all about the principles of flight, or, if you like, you can attend a paper airplane workshop and make your own paper wings and fly them. If you'd like to become a volunteer, you can come in on the weekends and help repair and rebuild old cars and airplanes. It's a lot of fun. We have sales of antique cars here, too, so watch for these events throughout the year on our website. And of course, if you want to read more about the history of transportation, don't forget to visit our library, where you can read and borrow books from our excellent collection. We also have a great museum store where you can buy gifts, books, and interesting road signs from around the country. Anyhow, let's get started.
It was the first time for me, so I have to admit I was a bit nervous. The takeoff was pretty smooth, and I found it exciting to feel the power as we lifted off. I was still a little scared as we started to climb, but once we were up above the clouds, I was okay.
So how long did the trip take?
About 4.5 hours to go from Seoul to Hanoi, but it seemed like much less.
And did you get a meal on board?
Yeah, they served lunch. The food was pretty good, actually. I also watched a movie, so the time went very quickly.
Was it smooth all the way?
There was a part when it got quite bumpy. I didn't like that at all. But it only lasted about 10 minutes. Then it was okay.
At any rate, you survived your first trip. What did you see once you were there?
2.
This was a trip I took in Greece. It's the best way to get from one island to another.
Was it a day trip?
No, it was an overnight trip, so we didn't get to see anything.
How did you sleep?
Oh, well, my sister and I shared a cabin. The beds were small, but quite comfortable. But we stayed up late before we went to bed because there were so many parties going on up on the deck. People were sitting around singing and eating, and everyone was very friendly. It was awesome.
What about the trip? Was it smooth?
It started out quite smooth, but halfway through the sea got really rough, and it was difficult for me to sleep. It didn't bother my sister, though. She slept right through it. Anyway, I want to show you pictures of the islands.
3.
I found it a very nice way to travel around India. It must be the most comfortable way to travel, and it's pretty cheap, too.
What about the seats? Are the seats comfortable?
I had a private sleeping car with my dad, and it was very comfortable. There was plenty of space for our bags, and you could make the seats into beds.
How about meals? How did you manage?
Oh, they serve great meals on board. They came by and took people's orders for meals, or you could go to the dining car. We ate most of our meals in the dining car because it had big windows and you got great views of the countryside. And the food was delicious.
And are the cars modern?
No, not really, but that makes them interesting. They look as if they're about 50 years old, but they're mostly in pretty good condition. In any case, you should check it out.
At any rate, you survived your first trip.
Anyway, I want to show you pictures of the islands.
Anyhow, let's get started.
In any case, you should check it out.
And the weather? What was the temperature like?
It was lovely. Anyway, let me tell you more about the food.
2.
Do the taxi drivers drive safely?
No, they drove so fast I was scared for my life. In any case, the trip was a great success.
3.
Is the airport far from the city?
It's about 30 kilometers, I think. At any rate, it's easy to get there by taxi.
4.
How about the fares? Is it expensive?
It's not bad. Anyhow, it's worth it once you get there. I had such a great time.
So tell me something about him.
What I like most about Tim is the way he treats people. I think he's very sensitive. He is always very polite and listens carefully to what other people have to say.
That's nice.
Yes, I like that. If people have different opinions, he doesn't try to prove that he's correct or make them change their minds. He also reads a lot, and he loves to travel.
What's his family like?
Well, he comes from a very interesting family. His father worked in Africa for many years on a wildlife reserve.
Really?
Yeah, and his mom was a volunteer in India for 3 years, working in a hospital for poor people. Tim is just like his parents. He really cares about other people.
It seems like he's really special.
2.
You'll enjoy meeting my new girlfriend, Rita. She's a lot of fun. People love being around her because she has a great sense of humor and always makes you laugh.
It seems to me that she's perfect for you.
I think so. She's always very positive about things, too. She finds a good word to say about everyone. I've never heard her criticize anyone.
That's good. Have you met her parents?
Yes, I have. She comes from a very musical family. Both her parents are good singers, and her mother is an excellent pianist.
Okay.
And Rita is very musical, too. She plays the guitar and the piano very well, and she has a terrific voice. She plans to study singing further after college and maybe even become an opera singer.
If you ask me, it sounds like she has a great career ahead of her.
3.
What's Tony like? He seems a little shy to me.
Yeah, I don't think it's very easy to get to know him. But he studied history and politics in college, so when he has something to say, it's really worth hearing. It's just that he's a little awkward around people he's never met. Some of my friends say he doesn't have much of a sense of humor, which I guess is true. He just got into law school, and I think he's more interested in studying than socializing.
He sounds very bright.
He sure is. I think he'll make a great lawyer.
4.
Tell me about Annie.
Well, she comes from an interesting family. Her father is a doctor, and her mother is a journalist. I guess that's where she gets her brains.
I guess so.
The thing I like about her is that she's very smart. She's always reading books.
Is she?
Yeah, she loves current affairs, and she also studies literature. So she's a great person to talk to on all sorts of subjects. And she's very modest, too. She never talks about herself.
It seems like she's really interesting.
She is. And she's a very good listener. She always tries to find out as much as she can about a person she's talking to. She loves meeting people. Of course, the fact that she's tall and very good looking always makes her stand out in a crowd.